Welcome back, cultivators. I just want to take a moment to thank you all. Our channel has officially crossed 1,000 subscribers, and that's all because of your amazing support. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join the family, because even bigger Donghua recaps and breakdowns are on the way. Alright, let's dive straight into today's Swallowed Star episode. In episode 191 of Swallowed Star, things take a dramatic turn. Luo Feng finally strikes down the Purple Bell King with a single, devastating blow, and his mad pursuit of two other kings pushes them right to their breaking point. The impact of his rampage shakes the entire battlefield. Countless powerful kings tremble in fear, realizing just how terrifying Luo Feng has become. This all unfolds during the chaotic treasure hunt inside the sacrificial tower, where two opposing camps fought ferociously over the spoils. The struggle was so fierce that four powerful kings ultimately perished. By the end, only two survivors remained, Luo Feng himself, and the Purple Bell King of the Mechanical Clan. But even in such deadly chaos, Luo Feng emerged as the true victor. Through the clever use of his Demon Killer Clan clone, he managed to seize the treasure chain chest hidden deep within the sacrificial tower. Not only that, he also reaped countless treasures left behind by the fallen Song Jin King. Once he escaped the tower, Luo Feng disguised his Demon Killer Clan clone as a native of the Yanji continent and successfully opened the chain chest. What awaited inside left him completely stunned. Piled within were countless treasures that could be used by both realm masters and immortals. But the most astonishing of all was a secret weapon, the Locking Sky Arm. This fearsome weapon had the power to instantly freeze space itself, cutting off teleportation and trapping the enemy in a prison of death. With this in hand, Luo Feng immediately gained the ability to slay even peak kings. Selling off the rest of the treasures through the Virtual Universe Company, Luo Feng instantly amassed a fortune of 560 billion Hunyuan units, a staggering sum that made him unimaginably wealthy overnight. But wealth never goes unnoticed. News of Luo Feng's haul from the sacrificial tower spread rapidly across Yanji continent, stirring envy everywhere. Powerful beings began scouring the land for him, and even envoys from the mighty Star Tower came seeking his trail. It wasn't hard for Luo Feng to guess who was behind the rumors. He realized the Purple Bell King was deliberately spreading the news, hoping to turn the countless greedy powerhouses of Yanji against him. Luo Feng had originally planned to delay this grudge until he had grown stronger, but the Purple Bell King had forced his hand. Instead of lying low, Luo Feng resolved to do the opposite, to unleash a bloody battle that would send a clear message. He was not someone to be trifled with. In the extraterritorial battlefield, where only strength commands respect, Luo Feng knew the only way to survive was to show overwhelming might. As more and more alien powerhouses hunted for Human Yang, rumors even spread that perhaps he had fled the battlefield altogether. But Luo Feng was not hiding. He was preparing. With his newfound fortune, Luo Feng carefully considered how to invest in power. He thought about advancing his cultivation of the true self's world, raising his Mayun vine, or even cultivating the terrifying Zerg Queen Irina into an immortal, which would make her Zerg Legion nearly unstoppable. The idea thrilled him, but reality struck hard. Irina revealed that to evolve into an immortal, she needed not just rare materials worth nearly 100 billion Hunyuan units, but also deep comprehension of the laws of space or time. Since she had only mastered the law of fire so far, Luo Feng's grand plan had to be abandoned. Shifting gears, Luo Feng explored other options. Terrifying weapons like the Black Hole Weapon, the Soul-Destroying Aurora, and the Silent Wind Weapon, each strong enough to threaten even Universe Venerables. But the prices were astronomical, far beyond his means. So after a month of careful planning, Luo Feng settled on a resource strategy. He spent 110 billion Hunyuan units advancing the Golden Horned Beast's original world to 16 times amplitude. Another 130 billion went into acquiring Fire God and Water God source crystals for the Locking Sky Arm. His biggest investment though was 300 billion on a kilogram of the rare and deadly Femo Venom, a substance capable of corroding immortal bodies and killing even limit-level kings. To round things out, he spent 8 billion upgrading his Mayun vine to the king level. Though his fortune was nearly exhausted, Luo Feng's overall combat power skyrocketed. He was now fully armed to take on the Purple Bell King and any other predator lying in wait. Many alien races, disappointed by his apparent disappearance, gave up the search and left Yanji continent. Only the Purple Bell King remained cautious, knowing Luo Feng was not the kind of person to cower forever. He could sense that a decisive duel between them was inevitable. Meanwhile, Luo Feng carefully prepared his Poison Shadow Sword, a weapon infused with Femo Venom, designed for one lethal strike. A year later, after all preparations were complete, Luo Feng finally made his move. Donning silver armor and spreading his wings, he sent a mass announcement to every human camp on Yanji continent. He declared that he was hunting the Purple Bell King, even offering a bounty of 50 million Hunyuan units to anyone who could reveal his nemesis's location. But strangely, the Purple Bell King vanished. A whole month passed with no trace of him. Luo Feng suspected he was hiding in the shadows, biding his time. And he was right. In truth, the Purple Bell King had retreated to the virtual world of the Mechanical Clan, where he secretly recruited two terrifying allies from the Star Tower, the Blood Beast King and the Heavy Arrow King. Both were as powerful as the late Songjin King, and with the promise of immense wealth, they agreed to join his plot. Together, they prepared an ambush that would surround Luo Feng with overwhelming force. And just when the trap was set, Luo Feng received a tip. A Marquis Immortal had found the Purple Bell King's coordinates. Without hesitation, Luo Feng paid the reward and teleported to the location. But this was no coincidence. The Purple Bell King had deliberately leaked his position to lure Luo Feng into the killing field, where the Blood Beast King and Heavy Arrow King were already waiting. As Luo Feng closed in on his target, he unleashed the Zerg Mother Nest. With a single order, Queen Irina executed the plan they had prepared in advance, a terrifying double strike. Nearly 2 million Zerg warriors materialized, splitting into two formations high above the battlefield. Energy gathered in the sky as the swarm prepared for a combined assault. Under Irina's command, the first wave of millions of Tiger Beetle Kings roared to life, unleashing a devastating beam of light that rained down upon the snow-capped mountains where the Purple Bell King was hiding. Before the dust could settle, the second Zerg formation immediately followed up with another crushing volley. Deep within his cave, the Purple Bell King felt the overwhelming destructive power bearing down on him. Alarmed, he escaped by teleportation just in time. But the sheer force of the Zerg attack left him shaken. Mistakenly, he assumed Luo Feng had deployed some rare and costly mechanical weapon, and the thought of facing him alone made him wary. Without hesitation, he called upon the two hidden allies he had arranged earlier, the terrifying Blood Beast King and the Heavy Arrow King. Moments later, the battlefield trembled as both kings arrived in a blaze of power. Their terrifying auras split the skies, and Luo Feng immediately recognized them. Though the odds had just tilted heavily against him, Luo Feng remained calm, even mocking the Purple Bell King with icy words. Both sides stood tense, waiting for the other to make the first move. Then, in a flash, Luo Feng acted. He suddenly used his three-strike shuttle universe movement technique, darting straight toward the Purple Bell King, and in the same breath unleashed the locking sky arm instantly. Space itself within tens of thousands of kilometers was frozen solid. Teleportation became impossible. The heavens fell silent as sacrificial patterns shimmered in the void, sealing the battlefield like an unbreakable cage. The Blood Beast King, the Heavy Arrow King, and the Purple Bell King all froze in shock. They had never expected Luo Feng to wield such a weapon. What they thought was impossible for him to master, the ability to block space, was now staring them in the face. At once, their fear turned into greed. If Luo Feng truly possessed a weapon capable of controlling space, then killing him and seizing it became even more irresistible. The three kings closed in, murderous intent boiling over. But Luo Feng was already prepared. With steady hands, he revealed two pitch-black crystals etched with terrifying sacrificial patterns. These were none other than the strongest Vulcan source crystals, weapons of the Mechanical Clan so powerful that even one could threaten a peak king. Luo Feng had brought two. Without a hint of hesitation, he detonated them. The moment the Blood Beast King, Heavy Arrow King, and Purple Bell King recognized what he had unleashed, their hearts nearly stopped. Terror surged through them as they turned to flee, but the locked space gave them no escape. In their minds, only one thought echoed: Luo Feng is insane. He's willing to die with us. A blinding explosion erupted, turning the sky and earth into white fire. The blast shattered the land itself, reducing everything to streams of particles. The Blood Beast King desperately summoned his Beast Phantom to shield him, while the Heavy Arrow King unleashed his strongest defenses. The Purple Bell King hid within the protection of his ancient bell, silver light flowing over his body. But the explosion was far too powerful. Their divine bodies were ripped apart in an instant, reduced to fragments of divine power scattered in the storm. The Blood Beast King and Heavy Arrow King were annihilated on the spot, their existences collapsing. Only the Purple Bell King barely survived, his divine body reduced to less than half, struggling to reform inside the Purple Bell. Rage and disbelief filled his heart as he prepared for a counterattack. But then his eyes widened in shock. Through the raging storm of destruction, Luo Feng emerged unscathed, a streak of silver light cutting across the void. In his hand gleamed the poison shadow saber, its blade glowing with a sinister purple aura. Before the purple Bell King's broken divine body could fully recover, Luo Feng struck. The saber pierced deep, and the deadly Femo venom instantly spread, corroding and disintegrating what remained of the purple Bell King's divine form. Coldly, Luo Feng's voice echoed in the void, "Purple Bell King, I've come to see you off." The purple Bell King's last moments were filled with horror. Despite all his schemes, despite recruiting two supremely powerful allies, his fate ended here, destroyed by Luo Feng's ruthless preparation and overwhelming strength. With the fall of the purple Bell King, Luo Feng's legend soared to new heights. The two extreme kings, Blood Beast King and Heavy Arrow King, were wiped out in the same battle, while Luo Feng stood tall and unbroken. Across Yanji continent and beyond, countless powerhouses would remember this day. From this moment on, the name of the Sword River King would resound throughout the entire extraterritorial battlefield, striking awe and fear into all who heard it.